Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another movie review. As you can see, I didn't do something stupid yesterday, and it was just because I actually heard from somebody that I hadn't heard from in a long time that I thought was out of my life completely. A person that I loved, and realized that this person was no good for me, and he's still bad news. Hopefully, he is out of my life forever. I want nothing more to do with him. People like that are just bad for business, period. I don't know how else to say it, but moving on, this isn't about that. This is more about Atlas Shrugged Part 2. And if you had watched the first film, they left us with the question from the book, who is John Galt? And Dagny names the railroad line after John Galt. And the whole movie is basically about Unitarianism or communism, and the Free Trade Act, in which everybody gets a fair share of everything. It sounds good at first, but it leads to some rather horrible economic problems. The railways are the only way that commerce can be done and transportation can be taken, because gas is so infinitesimally expensive that it's just not practical to use a car to travel. I'm just hoping that this sort of thing doesn't really happen in the future, because I can already see it beginning to happen. And Ayn Rand, she tried to warn us. I really think that she was a prophetess of her time. And interestingly enough, the rail company owned by Mr. Taggart, there was an actual Mr. Taggart in the 30s, by the end of when the Depression actually started happening. His name was Tom Taggart, and he owned 7-Up. I forget what else he owned. I think he had automobiles or something. I can't remember what my father told me, but he was from Indianapolis, and I thought, coincidence? I think not. He had a lot of sway, and he had a lot of status within the realm of business. So I thought, I wonder if she got that name from Tom Taggart, or if it was just, I'm not sure how that was inspired, but that was my surmisation. I was trying to think of what else. This movie is really profound, and there are a lot of allegories that are hinted to, and one thing D'Antonia says, another one of the mine owners, he's actually from Chile. He blows up his own mine later on in the film. He wants to basically be free from the system, because everybody in this society, they're a cog, and they're a cog or a piece in the wheel. They're just part of the mechanization that makes the system go, especially when the 1084, I think it's called 1084, when 1084 bylaw, or I forget what it is, but when that's passed, people are not allowed to quit their work, and other things are sanctioned, and just everything becomes so restrictive. It definitely becomes more communistic rather than just socialism. At first, socialism really isn't such a bad thing, but communism is the thing you want to avoid, because socialism, it's for the greater good. Just like the Free Trade Act is actually it's meant to be the greatest good for the most people, and those who are indigent really don't get a slice of that pie because they can't afford it. the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one, according to our biblical understanding, our Vulcan understanding. But it's just really fascinating if you're interested in economics or an apocalyptic view of the future. Ayn Rand. Actually, it was not supervised by the estate. The estate had no, they didn't give permission. They just, the interesting thing is the Atlas company that produced this film, the second part, they went ahead and produced it. And I'm glad they did because it just shows what happens when greed takes control and people are treated like basically like fresh meat and like they are nothing more than automatons doing a menial task, a menial labor. And I actually like this part much better than the first part because there's more action involved in it, and it's more complicated and complex and convoluted and multi-layered than the very first film. And I I read recently on the interwebs that it's possible that they will be doing a third. I don't know if they will or not because neither the first nor the second did exceedingly well in the box office, and nobody really, unless they are like me and they picked up the book for fun. Yeah, I know. Don't look at me that way. I thought it was interesting, and my dad was telling me about it, and I thought, oh, I might like this story, and I picked it up, and I could not put it down. It actually gave me a sense of dread and fear, and then I thought to myself, she's got to be a prophetess. I don't know if other scholars have felt this way or concluded that perhaps she was, but she had insight, I think, and she was just giving us forewarning just to be careful and cautious, and we're not doing that. If anybody ever watches any movie concerning the future of our economy, it should be this one right here, or just read the book. The second film answers the question, who is John Galt? And I'm not going to say who it is, but they kind of have a very subtle way of revealing who this is. And of course the romance is still alchemizing. I don't have a better word for it. It's still continuing from the very first film between Reardon and Dagny Taggart, and of course it's an affair, and we know that if you've read the book. It's you know, it follows the book, and it just seems that it's just a very intriguing story, and I give it 3 stars out of 4. It's not the best movie ever made. It was made on a low budget. It has some good special effects. It doesn't really lean or rely too much upon those. It's the story, the plot, all of that. That's the most intriguing part of this particular tale. I really don't know what else to say about Atlas Shrugged Part 2, but I'm hopeful that they do Part 3 because I'd like to see how they end it in the film and how they portray it, because so far they've been doing a really good job of that, and it's just a very unsettling sort of film, and it just makes you think quite a bit, and hopefully we're not so far gone that we can realize we need to put a stop to our own selfish natures and think of a better way. We need to figure out a fuel source. Like in this film, there is a fuel source that is discovered that was just left behind in the old 21st century motor company. Just there for the taking, and Dagny is the one that finds it. Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting film in and of itself, and I give it 2 thumbs up. I really liked it. So, if you have a chance to pick it up and watch it, do so because it's so much better than the first one, and it's just more well done. I think the actors and actresses just are more comfortable with their roles, and it just feels more natural than the first one did. But if not, then I recommend that you pick up the book and read it, and then, my friend, remain awake, remain vigilant, remain diligent, and try not to become a cog in the machine. That's all I can tell you. Fight the machine.